welcome to the first ever episode of Perfectly Average. Today we're going to talk about how true originality is actually a myth. Now, why this topic? Because when I decided to make a podcast, the first thing that came into my mind was literally that everybody makes one. It is so unoriginal and so uninventive that I got a little depressed thinking about how this is something that every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing nowadays. But then I got into thinking, is anybody truly original? Like, if we look at it, has anybody ever made something that has never been made before? Let's look at a few examples. Let's go through some of the ideas that I had about this, and let's see, and let's put them to the test, right? So the argument that basically I'm making is that nobody is truly original. Everything, everybody is inspired by somebody else. Alright. Now I'm going to take some examples in the most popular fields and try to support my argument through those examples. I'm going to take an example of a scientist, the example of a musician, and an artist like a painter. I feel like these examples are pretty inclusive since they cover most of the stuff that encompasses the entire globe. All right, so let's take the first example. One of the biggest physicists in the world, like the biggest name in physics, is probably Isaac Newton. Now, Isaac Newton has a beautiful quote that I just genuinely love. It basically he basically says that if I'm able to see farther, it is because on standing the shoulders of giants. That basically means that I am capable to do so many things because a lot of people have already done a lot of work on it. So, in essence, Isaac Newton maybe created, some might call it created physics. In a sense, like the laws that he gave define, like we call it Newtonian physics. So, even Newton accepted that he had some people that he looked up to, which he got inspired from. So this is my first example. The other example that I could think of was like one of the most popular person in the music field is probably Beethoven. You've probably heard at least a couple of his symphonies in either Tom and Jerry or in the Windows Media Player default music file. Beethoven, as they say, was actually inspired by Mozart. Like you could argue that, of course, like music, it can like people argue that Beethoven was so original, like he created symphonies that are really really hard to make. But at the end of the day, he was also inspired by somebody else that did it before him. You could go down the rabbit hole to finding out who the original person to make something was. Like I tried this with Beethoven. Then from Beethoven I got Mozart. From Mozart I got to know that his whole family was musical, and then of course his father was inspired by some other musician. So if you actually look at it, uh, like nobody created the symphony. In a sense, nobody created like a note that was never played before. Of course, people have created music that has never been done before, but like there's a beautiful quote by Stephen Fry. He says that writing is rewriting. So that basically means that even though you're writing something completely new, which you think is has never been done before, is basically just a modified version of something that has already been done before or already has been said before. A last example that I would like to take is of probably the greatest painter the world has ever seen. Is He's probably you've obviously heard of him, called Pablo Picasso. So Pablo Picasso was probably the greatest Renaissance painter in the 20th century. But a lot of his he has in fact admitted to this in a lot of his writings, interviews, or like stuff like that. He said that one of his rivals named Henri Rousseau, he was basically an inspiration for him to like uh, do different styles of paintings. Like there was a cube. I don't exactly know what it is called. I think it's called um, um, cubicle sketching or something like that. I don't exactly know that, but the point being, he was also Pablo Picasso is he's called one of the greatest painters that has ever lived, and he was still inspired by a rival. So yeah, so that's basically these examples I think are very exhaustive in a sense that they encompass almost all of the fields that we are um, you know we are familiar with. So that's that. So basically, if you feel like okay, I had one other thought about this. It was like if you're creating like first of all, I wanted to. The one thing that came into my mind was somebody might have, like, for example, the first man that would have created the wheel was obviously an original thing because the wheel had to be created in the first thing, right? But then I just thought, like, if an apple falling from a tree could inspire Newton to inquire about gravity, then maybe a rock, rolling down a hill, inspired the guy to make something that imitated that. Maybe he was inspired by nature itself. So that's really beautiful if you actually think about it. So it's a little warm if you think about that. Um, so if the other thought that I had was like, if you really think that something is truly original in the sense that you've never seen anything like this, if you think that this has never been done before, first of all, I think that you don't have enough knowledge of the subject to make an assumption like that. Because if if you are getting surprised by something, it's a very normal thing because you're not a specialist in that field. First of all, if I say, oh, this painting is so original, I don't have the authority to say that because I'm not a painter myself, right? It might look original, it might look something out of blue, but I don't have the authority to say that. Secondly, if even if an expert says that it was truly original, that basically means that it is such a good modification of something already existing, that it can be considered as new. Like the thing, like that the philosophical question about the ship of Theseus. Like if you replace every part of the ship, is the ship a new ship? Is like the older parts make the ship, or the ship that you were traveling on for the entire journey, the original ship? So it's like that. So even if you modified the entire thing, it still remained, the essence of it still remained, right? uh, so this might be sounding a little like demoralizing for some of us, because thinking about that you can't create something original is a little depressing. It was for me, at least. I thought that, wow, this is so uneventful. Like nobody has, like even the greatest minds have not created something original, and that maybe made me a little sad. But uh, I had another thought that made me cheer up. It was that even if you're not creating something original, that's okay, because the act of creating is original. Like, for example, if I've not made a podcast, of course, the act of making a podcast is unoriginal, but the act of me making a podcast is original because I have not made a podcast ever. So, originality is relative basically. You doing something unoriginal can be original to you, and that for me is a very positive note to end this episode on. Thank you for listening. See you in the next one.